First of all, I'd like to thank you very much, Councillor Pat and myself. We're really pleased that you invited us to your fundraiser tonight. And on behalf of all of our residents and servers,
thank you very much, and Assalamu alaikum. It is always a pleasure to come here and speak to you, and the really nice and noble work that you do, raising money, raising funds for the food bank. It is, I don't think there's any other more important cause than what you do. Because there's so many people out there who need our help. And I think when other people decide that we should bring them all up, lift them all up, that's what you do. I think if you really put it in a larger context, this is what Canada is all about. We help each other. We look out for each other. We have come from all over the world to make Canada our country, our home, to raise our family, to work here. And we bring our values, our traditions with us. The values to help others and share, work hard. That's what this community has done to bring Canada to the level that they are. And when we have all those communities come here, when we share our values with each other, we enrich our lives here, ourselves and all of Canadians. That's how we make this society much, much better. And that's why we're envy of the world, because everyone wants to come and live in Canada, because what we do here. And that's what you're doing. Our community is contributing so much to make Canada strong and united. There are so many forces out there that like to divide us. And we gotta be very, very careful. When we stand together, we're stronger. No one can take us down. There are forces out there, they don't like us to stand together. But Canada will become stronger when we stand together, when we lift each other up. And thank you very much for the invitation. My colleague, Bruce Walton, should be here soon. And my all other colleagues and I bring greetings on behalf of our Premier, John Horgan, and BC government. And just want to say, keep up the good work. Thank you so much.
So I have to give thanks to the organizers and the work that we do at Unity Productions Foundation to try to counter stereotypes about Muslims, using the power of film and television, using new media, telling stories about Muslims that aren't being told. But let's be honest, some stereotypes about Muslims are true. And if not all Muslims, at least, again, I'm going to pick on my own culture, at least basics, at least South Asians. So I already told you about one stereotype. Here's the second one. Somebody's got to explain this to me. Why do we, as people from India and Pakistan, why do we have this tradition of giving our children rhyming names? Can anyone tell me why do we have this tradition? I've asked so many people, I've asked anthropologists, nobody knows. There's a story about a family that had 10 sons. And so they felt this obligation. They had to follow the tradition. They had to give them all rhyming names. And so they called the first son Irfan. The second son was Rizwan. The third son was Adnan. The fourth son was Rehan. And they continued this pattern on and on. Until they had twin boys, 7 and 8, and they were running out of ideas. So they called them Shaban and Ramadan. So now they have 8 sons, and then they had a 9th son. They could not think of anything to name this child. So they just called him An. Now 9 sons, can you imagine 9 sons? I mean, talk about a crazy life. 9 sons, a crazy, hectic life, but they were happy. A few years passed, surprise, surprise, a 10th son. So they call him Shaitan. In sharing the first gift of the Muslim Food Bank, the story I want to share with you is about a man named Abu Umama. This is a man at the time of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. One day Abu Umama is sitting there in the mosque, and the Prophet, peace be upon him, comes in and says, "What's wrong? It's not prayer time. Everyone else is out working. What are you doing here?" And he said, "Money problems. Right? I'm stressed about my job, my debts, my income, my investments, money problems." Sometimes we think of money problems as a modern problem, but in fact it's as old as human beings themselves. And he says, I want you to learn this dua. I want you to learn this prayer. And I would like all of you to recite it after. I'm going to say it first, and then we're going to recite it together, because it sets the tone for the evening. Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-hammi wal hazan. Oh God, I seek protection with you from worry and grief. Wa min al-ajzi wal kasal, from helplessness and laziness. Wa min al-jubni wal bukhl, from cowardice and stinginess. Wa min ghalabat ad-dayni wa qahr al-rijal, from the overpowering of debt and the oppression of men. And I would like you to all recite it with me. Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-hammi wal hazan, wa min al-ajzi wal kasal, wa min al-jubni wal bukhl, wa min ghalabat ad-dayni wa qahr al-rijal. And if you listen to this beautiful prayer of the Prophet, peace be upon him, and the context in which he said it, here the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was showing great empathy to a man in need. And that is the first gift that the Muslim Food Bank gives, because none of this can happen, no projects, no services, there can be no vision if there's not that empathy, if we can't see things from the perspective of the person in need. And the Prophet, peace be upon him, always did that, and that is what the Muslim Food Bank does as well.
Okay, so they're doing the fundraising in the background.
This has to be a competition.
It might be a little loud,
when you get things easily,
but I wanted
it's not really worth it. $600. Can we get another hand up?
advantage of the time and do a little bit of review of the food.
Another hand
So
up for $600.
there is some chow mein.
No. Sold to the brother, the first sale. Takbir.
Wow, that's spicy.
It's not easy being the first hand up.
See the rice. Rice actually it's like Afghani rice. It has cumin. Interesting.
Okay. Now I have a question to the entire audience here, and we're going to see how much knowledge the audience has.
Let's try the meat.
There is a hadith that says, there is one surah in the Quran. If you read that surah, it's as if you've read 1/3 of the Quran. Does anybody know what surah that is? Does anybody know what surah that is? Yes. Perfect. MashaAllah, sister.
You gotta try the bread.
So we have right here, Qul huwa Allahu ahad. Allahu samad. Lam yalid wa lam yulad wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. Now this one is starting off cheap, so we don't have any excuses.
I like the meat.
So we're going to start for $350. MashaAllah. Do we have 400? Do we have 450? 450? 450. Do we have 500? Do we have 500? Oh, she won that quickly. Do we have 500 for anybody? Anybody here? Take a very quick look. It's a very cheap price that she's getting it at. And it takes weeks to make something like this. So I'm going to ask one more time.